Hey, everybody, it is David Thomas. Let me just check the group and make sure we are in there and we are good to go. All right. Let's see. Where are we? I don't see me yet. Well, hope everybody's having a good start to your Friday. There we are. Perfect. Let's see if we have sound. We're good to go. We do. All right, cool. And let me see. For some reason, it's been broadcasting this. Let's delete that. All right. I don't know why it's putting it on my main page. But anyways, David Thomas, hope everybody's having a great day. Today, I'm here for your weekly motivation, inspiration, education. We're here to make you, and I say we because Jay is usually with me, and he won't be with me today. He is still in the hospital, as you saw on his timeline if you follow him on social media. Hey, good morning. And so he already announced this, so it's not a secret, but he was supposed to have hip surgery, and then they ended up finding an infection in his knee. So then they had to do surgery on his knee before they could do surgery on the hip. So it's been a whole mess. So keep him in your thoughts and your prayers. I know that he's about fit to be tied right now, but he's in good spirits and he is pushing through. That's all you can do, right? You can't control what that happens to you. All you control is how you react. And so that's what he's trying to do, but just keep him in your thoughts and your prayers. So, but we try to jump in here every week, as you already know, to give you some inspiration and some education on how to become a better you. That's really it. How to become more successful, how to become a better parent, a better boss, a better employee, a better trader, a better builder, all of the above. That's what we're here to help you do. So today we're going to be talking about, who are you associating with, right? I really like this subject, a lot because the people you hang around will, in a huge way, are going to determine your level of success, your level of happiness, your level of achievement in life more than any other factor. Because no one achieves anything significant by themselves. I think we can all agree to that. This guy told me one time, he said, you're going to be in 5 years what you are today, except for the books you read and the people you meet. And I thought, wow, except for the books you read and the people you meet. Harvard did a 25-year study that said your choice of a reference group, meaning the people that you associate with on a daily basis, they're going to have more to do with your success than anything else. Listen to that. I mean, that's pretty incredible, right? They're going to have more to do with your success than anything else. I mean, that's massive. The people that you associate with over time through this process of association and absorption, you're going to adopt the attitude of these people and their mannerisms, the way that they speak, right? Their aspirations, their goals, even the way they dress, I mean, it's you become those people that you hang around with. And it's kind of funny, you actually start to look like those people, potentially dress the same or eat the same and those kind of things. So, you're going to be like the people you hang around on a daily basis. They're going to influence the kind of person that you become. So you need to adjust your goals, your behaviors, right? You need to adjust your thoughts and everything to be consistent with what they're feeling with your peer group. So if you want to be a certain person in business, if you want to be a certain person in life, you've got to adjust your goals and your behaviors to associate with those people that are going in the same direction you are, to be consistent with what you want to approve of for yourself. A lot of people, they do the opposite, right? What I just said, they're adjusting themselves to become like their peers. You see that a lot with teenagers trying to fit in school. I'm about to have a teenager right now. She's about to turn 13. It's my oldest. And we're already seeing it, in middle school and all these places where, they're starting to want to do what other people are doing. And sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's not. So it's normal to have that happen. So I think everybody can agree that that's just the way of life. So you've got to start making new choices, because all change in your outer world starts with the change in your inner world. T. Harv Eker, I've mentioned him a lot. I like his books, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. You're going to hear him talk about that in that book, right? The outer change starts with the inner change. And that's what he talks about. because major changes in your inner world are going to start happening when you change the people with whom you associate with. When I was, in college and those kind of things, and you're just surrounded by, all your broke roommates, then that you're going to continue to have that mindset. But when I decided, I wanted to change in my life, and I wanted to change from, I was still hanging out with those people, and, even up into, right out of college, and then owning my restaurant, still associating with some of the same people. And I finally decided, I've got to change my life. So obviously you guys know a little bit about my story with how I changed it with trading and this amazing team. But also I started hanging out with different people, with people that were making $1 million a month. Those are the kind of people that I wanted to hang out with. And my life started to change. We started to not have so much in common with each other. My broke friends that weren't going anywhere, that just wanted to, do the same thing over and over. I didn't want that for my life. So when you start separating yourself and hanging out with the people that you do want to have, like find somebody who has what you want in life and do as they do. It's really that simple. If you want a good marriage, find someone who has a good marriage. Find out what they're doing. If you want to have success with your finances, find somebody that's having success with their finances and find out what they're doing, right? That's the process. So my situation started to change. My goals, my habits. I started being obsessed with personal development because that's what my mentors was telling me to do. And I started to love it, started to crave it every day. My daily rituals started to change. So if you follow what's called the law of correspondence, really what it says is the outer world is a mere reflection of that inner world. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So this principle is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's the same thing we've heard. You probably heard it before, but it's so sad that most people don't apply it. This means that you see yourself and you think about yourself in your conscious mind. So your perception of your outer world will change and conform to fit a picture that is consistent with it. So the most influential factors in your thinking and your feeling will almost always be the other people in your life, right? Successful people are those who form the habit of associating with other positive, successful people, people who are optimistic, people who are driven, people who are passionate. Unsuccessful people associate with people who aren't going anywhere in their lives. And here's the interesting thing is both sets of people become more and more like the people that they identify with. So, the call to action today is for you to resolve to associate with the people who you enjoy and from the people with people you can actually learn from, right? When you set these kind of standards in your relationships with your peers and your associations, your life will begin to improve almost immediately. You'll see this improvement, because the most successful people in society at every level are those who have the greatest number of other successful people in their circles. Right? I think if you really think about what I just said there, the most successful people in society are the ones that have the most successful people in their circle, their core circle. They organize their lives to meet these successful people by design. It's not by accident, right? And the good news is you can start to do that as well. You can make that decision. You can start living the kind of life you want to live by simply changing the books you read. Right? The people you associate with, you can make that decision. It's up to you because you are literally friendships away from your life changing. You are books away from your finances changing. Your thoughts away from your relationships changing, your life changing, a book away, a friendship away. And so I really want you, I want you to start doing is disassociating yourself from the friends, the family members, the coworkers that aren't supporting you. Start hanging out with the ones that are supporting your dreams, supporting your goals. Disassociate yourself with those who aren't. Now, it doesn't mean you have to go to announce to them, hey, you're gone, right? You're cut. We're not going to do that. But you can start distancing yourself and making yourself unavailable to those people. That's what you have to do. You can love them. You can be nice to them. You can still, want the best for them. But it doesn't mean you have to associate with them and let them drag you down to their level. Because unfortunately, what typically happens in these kind of situations is you don't bring them up to your level. They bring you down to theirs. It's human nature. So you need to associate with the people that are going where you want to go. So love everybody, hang out with a few. You cannot afford emotionally and financially to be around the people who are not aligned with where you're going. So once again, today's call to action is think about the people that you're associating with and make a designed change to meet and befriend and associate with the people that have what you want, are going where you want, have done what you want to do, and distance yourself, set up boundaries from the people that are dragging you down. It's really that simple. So I hope that you are really taking this to heart. I hope that you took notes and you're really going to start thinking about this in your life. Am I doing this? How can I start doing this? And start showing that in your life. And like I said, you'll see that change almost immediately. And it'll be massive. I know it was for me. So let's see. We got some comments here. I think this is one of the hardest things to do, but one of the most important. Yeah, it is. It's very hard because it's human nature, especially if you're, if you're a nice person. You don't want to have to cut anybody off or hurt anybody's feelings or kind of almost in a sense be like, you're not good enough for me anymore. I mean, we have a hard time with that. But if the hard decisions sometimes are the best ones. You have to make that hard decision that, what, they call me up, they want to hang out this weekend. I'm going to say I'm not available. I'm going to do something else. Maybe you just sit home and you read personal development. I don't, whatever that is, but associating with that same caliber and level of person that's not going where you want to go it's not going to get you anywhere. Right. And once again, you have to design a way to meet the people and associate and befriend the people that are going where you want to go. I mean, you take people like, I started associating with this community, people that were goal-oriented, people like Michael Martin, right? Brandon Boyd, rubbing shoulders with them, Jason Brown. And so I've been, by design, making myself available and putting myself in the right situations to become more and more in their inner circle. So I can improve and learn and grow from these individuals. So you can absolutely do the same thing. And it doesn't have to be just in this community. You can have a lot of mentors and what's the word I'm looking for? Idols, not idols, but you know what I'm saying? Like somebody that you're idolizing in your life that aren't necessarily in this community. So you just have to think about that in your life, where you want to go and find those people and find by design a way to associate with them. All right. So hope everybody has a great weekend. Definitely appreciate you tuning in today. Hope you get value from this as always. Once again, keep Jay in your thoughts and your prayers. And we will not be back for the next 2 weeks, right? Because next week's Christmas and the week after that's going to be New Year's. And I know personally, I know Jay's going to be busy, especially with everything he's got going on. But I am going to be like everywhere. So we got my family stuff, my extended family, my wife's family, her extended family. I mean, it's just like the next 2 weeks are going to be crazy off the rails. So not going to be able to be on here, but we will see everybody in the new year. So if I don't see you before, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. You're welcome, Melissa, and everybody else. We appreciate you, and we will see you very soon. Take care. God bless. Bye.